Welcome to the Karuna Life, the podcast where we explore the connection between spirituality and everyday life. I'm your host, Gina Kitzmiller. I'm a longtime spiritual seeker, professional intuitive, and Reiki master teacher. Join me as we dive into topics like living a heart-centered life, connecting with our intuition, and unleashing our own power. Through interviews with professionals and personal storytellers, we'll discuss the metaphysical world, spirit guides, and finding magic in the ordinary. Get ready to embrace your inner mystic and explore the realms of the unseen. Welcome to the Karuna Life. I'm Gina Kitzmiller, and today we are going to talk about vision boards. Do they work for manifesting? I'll let you know what my guides had to say. We'll talk about why some boards aren't very effective. We're going to discuss heart songs, what they are and why they are so important in creating your vision board. I'll give you some tips for how to really get the most out of your board. And at the very end, my guides would like to chime in and offer a message to the group. So let's get started. Vision boards. I know this is an odd topic to talk about in the middle of August because if you are like me, we tend to hear a lot about vision boards around January. And I love to create my vision board then because I get excited for the new year, my goals. And the problem I have found though is that I create the vision board and I love it. I put it up. But then after a few months, I kind of forget about it, right? I just joke that it starts to collect dust. I don't really revisit it. And then I lose all interest completely. So lately, my guides have suggested that I dust off my board, get it out, and take a look at it, and then take it apart and redo it. And they started to give me tips for how to truly create a powerful vision board that I thought I would share with all of you. So, my first question to my guides and the Akashic Records was, do they really work as a manifesting tool? And what they said was that vision boards can be a powerful tool if they are used correctly. But the problem is that most don't use them as intended. They explained that we often choose pictures that we like, but that don't really represent any deeper meaning for us. And they said sometimes people put things up on vision boards that aren't really what they want. It's simply what society is telling us that we should want, right? So I was thinking that's usually what the luxury lifestyle, the mansions and the fancy cars. And those things are wonderful if that's truly what's in your heart. But most people forget to stop and really ask that question. And of course, all of us would love abundance, right? Who doesn't want to have this beautiful home? But we really want to take a look at what's going on deeper and what is trying to come through us on the soul level. And that's the part that we can often lose sight of. Heart songs are probably one of the most important things in creating a truly powerful vision board. And my guide said that most vision boards lack heart songs, so they can't really be a powerful manifestation tool. So, what are heart songs? I don't know if this is a term that is used or if this is something my guides told me years ago that I've just adopted. But for me, a heart song is those very deeper parts of ourselves, those secret dreams, desires, goals that really are coming from the heart center of what we want to call into our life. I think often with heart songs, those are things that we may or may not share with a lot of people, right? It's those kind of hidden dreams that we have that, or nudges that we know someday I would like to do this. And when I work with clients, oftentimes I actually can really see them in the field. And what I see heart songs as are these beautiful golden seeds in the heart center. And if I get the sense that that's there, I'll often tell the client, I can feel that there's this golden seed, there's something you want to do. And their answers are amazing. I've heard all sorts of beautiful dreams that people have that they're holding in their heart. So this could be something like they want to write their memoir, or they had an idea for this really amazing children's book, or they want to start a program for teenagers with anxiety. Like it's amazing the depth and the range that we really hear when people share the truest part of themselves. This can also be something that you want to call into your life. So sometimes a heart song might be more personal. It might be that you want to call in a loving relationship into your life. Maybe you're looking to start a new job or change careers in something that you find more fulfilling. And oftentimes, people also have this kind of hidden desire to take a more public role. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that they want to possibly start a blog or do something that's a little bit more public because they feel that there's something that they want to share. And I would say that that is a heart song, right? That's the nudge of the soul of, I want to express in a different way. I want to share the wisdom and the knowledge that I have. And that's a really wonderful thing. Often, if you're like me, I'm very good at tossing out questions or kind of statements to my guides or even to my soul, hey, let me know what you want me to do. The harder part is to actually pause and wait to get an answer. And that's the piece that I think some of us forget to do. So when we're talking with really the soul or that deeper part of yourself, it's like any other relationship. And I know I said this with loved ones in spirit. I would say it was spirit guides as well. And with your soul, it is truly a relationship. So it's something that you do want to take a look at. Are you checking in with yourself, right? Do you have those deeper conversations? Do you ask yourself those deeper questions? Or are you getting distracted? Because life is very busy. We get very distracted with technology. Our mind chatter can get very loud, and that makes it harder to really tune in to what's going on with the soul. So, how do you find your heart song? That's the $1,000,000 question, right? I think it's by really starting to ask yourself and to explore and look at what really lights me up. Where is my soul asking me to go? And what are those secret desires or dreams that I might have in my heart that I'd like to call forward? And I'll tell you what often trips people up, and it's tripped me up too in my life, is sometimes we have a heart desire or a dream, and then we kind of squash it. We'll say, "Oh, I can't do that," right? Or, "Oh, well, that's already been done." Well, it hasn't been done by you, right? And each of us has our own unique frequency and vibration and soul essence. I also usually remind clients sometimes that, there's a million yoga teachers out there, for example, right? But some of them are really good and they can be life changing for certain participants. So, does that mean that those people shouldn't have stepped up and gone into that career? Well, if it's their heart song, of course they should. There's a reason why they're being directed into that field. And just because there are other people in that field certainly doesn't mean that you can't join in. I also always like to remind people that this is the only life that you are going to get as you. And stop for a moment and think about that. This is the only lifetime that you are going to have as you with all of your thoughts, your emotions, and all those little things that make you you. That's pretty special. And since we only get this one life, what is it you want to do with it? What goals or dreams do you have that you really truly would like to pursue, but maybe you've been a little bit scared to? Can we start to call those forward? And just because you identify a heart song doesn't mean that you have to run out next week and do it, right? That doesn't mean you're going to run out to Sedona and start your retreat center or start this, camping program that you've had in your heart. It does mean that you start to acknowledge this is something I think I would actually like to do. And then you start to call it in slowly, but understand that it will come in steps. Most of us don't get thrown too much into the deep end, and that you just start to move towards something. I often say with clients that we want to follow the breadcrumbs. We want to follow what lights us up. And oftentimes we won't see truly that end goal because it doesn't work that way. We're going to be taking steps and learning and growing and getting the skills and the experiences that we need to take us to the next step. So we don't have to worry so much. What we do need to do, though, is to revisit those goals and to ask ourselves, does this still resonate for me? That's where we can get tripped up as well. We may have set a goal 5 years ago that really did resonate with us, but maybe it doesn't really light up anymore. Maybe you've grown and changed over the last couple of years, and you're not sure if that's even really something you want to pursue. So, with those things, what my guides have told me to do is to put a pin in them. Just move them to the side and say, okay, maybe I'll pick this up later. But right now, that's not where my attention is asking to go. So, when you go to create a vision board, here are some tips. The first one is you want to connect in with the soul, right? When you sit down to do the project, ask to connect in and become really present. And we do that by our intention. We also do that by setting sacred space. And that doesn't have to look super fancy. It could be that you light a candle, you play some music, you get a cup of tea, and you want to make sure that you're not going to be distracted. So I would probably silence my phone. I would make sure that I'm not doing this while watching TV. And I want to commit my full attention to the project. If you're like me, I would call in my higher self and my spirit team of guides, angels, and helpers. I would call in my loved ones in spirit too, because I take all the help that I can get. And I just set the intention of, hey, I'm going to be doing a vision board. Can you guys help me with this? And then I'm going to look through the pictures and see which ones speak to me. And when I did this, I had three different piles. I had a pile of ones that I really liked and I knew for sure I wanted on the board. I had a middle pile that I thought I like them. I'm not 100% sure. And then I had a pile of ones that just didn't resonate with me at all. So that's what you want to do. And remember that pictures are frequency and vibration. So as you're thinking about your goals and dreams and visions and what you want to call in, just take a look at those pictures and see, okay, does this represent what I'm trying to call in? And you're going to laugh, but on my vision board, I have a piece of chocolate cake, which is really funny. But for me, it represents kind of the fun part of life, right? I want to be able to eat chocolate cake. So it does represent something to me rather than just simply a cute picture that I thought I would put up. And when you have your board all together, I always just want to fill my heart with gratitude and ask the universe, I ask for this or something even better. Because maybe there's something else that's even bigger than you even put on the board. So you want to give a little bit of room for expansion. And when we're talking about manifesting, I think one of the areas we overlook is revisiting it, right? So if I put the board up and I don't look at it again until the following year, there's not really a lot of energy going into it. So you want to be kind of checking in with it. And you also want to be connecting in with yourself. Start to envision, what does it look like when you have all of these things and goals? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who are the people around you? What are they saying? The more you can really put yourself in those moments can be really powerful. I think daydreaming is something that we take for granted. That and imagination are two really powerful tools for manifesting. But we often forget that they are because we feel as adults, we can't use our imagination. As kids, we're told to stop daydreaming. And I would say daydream. Sit and think about, oh my gosh, what does it feel like? Get excited about it, right? These are really amazing things that you're trying to call in. That energy and frequency of, I'm so excited, I can't wait to do this, can be really, really powerful. Now, my guide said that a truly powerful vision board is one that you allow to develop over time. And that's why it's important to revisit it. So it's okay to have a base, but then you want to check in periodically and say, okay, does this still resonate with me? Maybe there's something that's moving to the side and maybe something else is coming in. And gosh, I'm really excited about it. So I think I'm going to put that on my board now as well. They said that if you look at the board and it lights you up, then that's a good vision board. They said if you look at it and it lights you up and it scares you a little bit, that's actually an even more powerful board because we want room for expansion. And oftentimes when we have these heart songs or soul nudges, they're going to ask us to get out of our comfort zone a little bit. That's the growth. So if you look at those goals and you're excited about them, but there's this little part of you that goes, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that," right? I'm a little bit nervous. It kind of scares me. That is usually a great indicator that you are onto something. And I would say lean in. Take a look at the fear and ask yourself, what is it I'm really afraid of? The more you can be honest and look at it, the more that you can start to work through your fear. And I heard once that fear and excitement are actually a similar frequency, they're just different ends of the spectrum. So when I start to be afraid about something, I do start to ask myself, is this fear or is this excitement? And sometimes it's a little bit of both, right? And so I go, okay, like I can sit with that. So the more you can acknowledge it, the more you can sit with it and lean in when something feels a little bit of a stretch, the more that you're going to be able to call in and achieve. So I did do a new vision board, and instead of putting it up in my bedroom, I actually put it up in a funny place. I put it up in my bathroom next to my sink. And my hope is that I will start to pay more attention to it as I'm getting ready in the morning. I'm not sure that this is going to be where I keep it. I'm kind of playing around with it. So I will let you know on that one. And I did ask my guides if there was anything that they would like to say to the group. And they said what they would like everyone to know is that there are a few of you here that know that you are very good at manifesting, which is a really wonderful skill to have. So, for you guys, you know that you're good at it. It's very easy, it comes very naturally to you. I would say you're a lot like my daughter. She's very good at manifesting. We joke that is why we have a corgi in our household now, thanks to her manifesting it. And the rest of you are a little bit more like me. You hold a little bit of skepticism around even vision boards and a little bit around manifesting. And what they want to say to all of you is that this might be a really good time for you to revisit it with kind of new eyes. And what I feel in the group is that there's some frustration. It feels like maybe you did have some goals or dreams that you were trying to call in previously that didn't happen. So you kind of just got frustrated with it and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. This doesn't work. This stuff's kind of, silly. But they're saying that at the time, it feels like maybe there were some things that you needed to either go through or grow or change in order to begin to really meet and call in those goals. And it's not that you did anything wrong because we're all growing and changing. Goodness, that's like a really good thing, right? We want to have the soul's growth and experience. And it feels like the best example that I could give would be maybe you were trying to call in a romantic relationship, but maybe at that time, you weren't really over the last one. Maybe you were still feeling really distrustful of people and you weren't quite ready to be vulnerable. And now you've grown and you've changed and you're ready to have a different experience. So they're saying it would be a good time to take a look at that and to say, okay, I understand that I've grown and I've changed. What goals or dreams do I have that are in my heart that I would like to call in now? And can I have the faith and the trust that I am capable and I am able to call those in at this time? I think that if you do that, you might have a very different experience. So that's what I have to say about vision boards. I hope that this was helpful. Please let me know how it goes with your vision board. You can always email me at gina@thekarunalife.com. And as always, if you like this podcast, please consider following it or leaving us 5 stars. We'd be really grateful. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.